Hello, everyone. Welcome to TD Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to do a Gambit Hero review. So, Gambit is one of the last mutants that we had in the first wave, which is Mutant Genesis. Um, and he's got some unique things, just all about playing with a deck of cards.
It
Well,
is a card game. I mean,
it's
come
a,
on.
but he's
He
playing.
should be the best one at this.
Right, but he's using a poker deck more than anything. But okay, but
Okay.
anyways, let's take a look at what Gambit can do.
Okay, so we've got so his alter ego side is Remy LeBeau. He is a mutant thief. He has a hand size of 6. He's got 9 hit points, and he's got a recovery of 3. His action is Thief Extraordinaire. It's a thwart action, so he can actually thwart while he's in alter ego. But you can exhaust him and look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. You discard one of those and remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card.
Yeah.
So this is one that if you've got a bunch of big encounter or boost heavy encounter deck, it can be, that ability is really nice.
All right. And then on his hero side, Gambit, he's got a hand size 5, 9 hit points. He's a 1/2/3. And he's got charge to card action. Place 1 charge counter here, limit once per round. And then he can throw the card. Interrupt. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. That event deals +1 damage for each charge counter removed. So even a basic, like an attack of some kind, he can bump it up by 3. But you're going to also see that in his hero kit, he's got some other fun things that he can do with charges.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look at his cards. So, his signature ally.
So signature ally is Rogue. She is a 4-cost aerial X-Men. She thwarts for 2, she attacks for 2, and has 3 hit points. And you can reduce the cost to play Rogue by 1 for each charge counter on your identity. And she comes in with toughness. So, I mean, if you've got 4 charge counters on, she comes in for free.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
We have a slider right here
Okay.
because he comes with a team up card, Beauty and the Thief. It's a 2-cost event. Attack, thwart, team up, Gambit, and Rogue. So you can do it with your signature ally, or if someone's playing the
Rogue
Hero. Yeah. As hero action, attack, thwart, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and remove 4 threat from a scheme. So that's pretty nice.
And with his what, charge the card? No, not charge the card. Throw the card ability.
Throw the card.
He can actually make that a 7 damage.
Yeah, you can
so
do
that's
up
nice.
to 7 and still remove 4 threat.
Yep.
Okay.
For 2. All right, so we've got the Thieves Guild here. It is his 1-cost support. It's a guild card as an alter ego response after you resolve the Thief Extraordinaire ability, which is the one that allows him to thwart while he's in alter ego. Then you can exhaust the Thieves Guild, remove 1 thwart from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. So in alter ego, he can actually turn around and remove, an additional one there and potentially get additional card draw as well. So that's really nice.
All right. And then he has a staff. Of course, he's Gambit. 1-cost upgrade, item, weapon. When an enemy attacks, exhaust Gambit staff, deal 1 damage to the enemy. Now it's an interrupt. So if there's like a minion with 1 hit point left, you getting ready to activate against you, you can bump him on the head and he won't activate against you because he'll be dead. Bump him on the head and he will be dead.
All right, then we've got Gambit's Guild Armor. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It is an armor item. And as a hero response, after Gambit defends against an attack and takes no damage, you can exhaust the armor and ready Gambit.
And that's the staff tonight. So
Yeah.
he's going to really want to team up with Jubilee, with that, where you can grab items.
Yeah, that's nice one because if he can go and search for that.
Yeah. All right. Then his first event we got 3 copies. It's called Charge Card. It's 2-cost event. It's an attack and superpower.
That's charged card, not charge card. It's not a Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah, charged card. Deal 4 damage to an enemy for this attack. If Gambit's throw the card ability removed at least 1 counter, the attack gains range. 2 counters, the attack also gains piercing, and 3 counters, the attack also gains overkill. And again, remember, for each charge you do, you add +1 to the damage as well as the bonus that you would get.
Yep. So that one can be powerful, have a lot of different effects attached to it for 3. All right, next we've got 2 copies of the Royal Flush. It's a 3-cost event. It is an attack superpower, so Death Focus works with it. But as a hero action, you place 1 charge counter on Gambit. You deal 0 damage to an enemy, deal 0 damage to an enemy, deal 0 damage to an enemy. So it puts a charge counter. So at minimum, you can remove 1, and each of those now goes to 1. But if you, the one that it put on there and 2 additional ones, if you remove 3 of them total, you're actually dealing 9 damage in 3 different allotments. So they could go to either the same enemy or 3 different enemies. And then, for only a cost of 2 charge counters.
Right. But what's kind of nice, like if you did 1 charge counter and there was a bunch of enemies with toughs, you can knock out 3 different toughs.
Yeah.
Or like he said, you can do on the same target. So like maybe if you're going up against Armadillo, you can knock 3 of his toughs off.
Yep.
Natural Agility is a 0-cost event. Defense superpower, so you can use Death Focus, but you don't need to.
Actually, you could, depending on who the villain is.
Oh yeah, it's true.
It is possible.
Strife, yeah, where was that? Oh no, yeah, with that Strife where everything costs +1.
Yeah.
When you defend against an attack, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense for that attack. So Gambit's defense can get super high, and so if you're playing protection, like a perfect defense is like amazing for him if you got a lot of charge counters.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Next here we've got the Creole Charmer. We've got 2 copies of this. It's a 2-cost event. It is a forward event as an alter ego action. So I love the fact that he naturally thwarts an alter ego. But you can remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, confuse the villain. So while you're in alter ego form, you can, or when you go down, you can remove threat and then confuse him so he doesn't add it.
And he's got kind of a She-Hulk feeling where he can thwart an alter ego, just like she can. So, and then the last,
yes, but he does not get her wonderful, wonderful catchphrase.
That is true, but he's got other catchphrases that, whether especially being a Creole Charmer. All right, so then we got 2 copies of Molecular Acceleration. It's a resource that generates an energy and a strength. Hero Interrupt. When you spin this card, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So not only is it a double resource, but you also get to put a charge on.
Yeah, and outside of a campaign, I think this is the first one I remember that gave you multiple resources that were different outside of a campaign.
Rocket,
so not sure.
Rocket had it.
Rocket did?
Rocket Raccoon had it.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so now we have his obligation is guild business. So you give it to him as an alter ego action. You can exhaust him and spend an energy to remove guild business from the game. Now, this one, it is a hazard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hazard, yes, I got it. So this one's a hazard, so it's not necessarily the worst one in the world, but I mean, the more players you have, the less harmful this one is. But if you're playing solo, you definitely want to get rid of this one.
All right. And then his nemesis is Belladonna. She's 2 scheme, 3 attack with a star, 5 hit points, assassin elite, quick strike, toughness. Force response. After Belladonna attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat on the main scheme.
Then we've got his nemesis side scheme is the Assassin Guild. As a force response after an assassin minion attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat here. It comes in with 4 and has an acceleration token on it, but obviously we're going to get assassins whenever this comes in. So,
yep. So we got 2 copies of Guild Assassin. Belladonna is also an assassin, so there's 3 assassins in his Nemesis set. So the Guild Assassin is 1 scheme, 2 attack, 2 hit points, assassin, quick strike. Again, there's a star on the attack. After Guild Assassin attacks and defeats a character, place 1 threat on the main scheme. So yeah, they're like they're doing their little sneak attacks with quick strike and then adding threat.
Yeah, and then they're definitely trying to get you not to chump block. And then the last card we've got here is the Nemesis Treachery. It is the assassination attempt because assassins got to assassinate. When revealed, each assassin minion attacks you, even if you're in alter ego form. And if there's no assassin minions in play, you search the encounter deck and discard pile for one and reveal it. So you will get one if there's not one already.
Okay. All right. And then we've got a pile of cards here for some of the different aspects that we think are good with Gambit. So, one of the first things, aggression, we got quite a few because every single attack event, that stupid cat. Every single attack event can get up to 3 more damage with the charge counters. So first of all, you got Clobber here. It's a 2-cost event. Attack, hero action attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. If this is the first card you have played this round, return this card to your hand. So you could do 6 damage and put this card back in your hand again. So that's pretty good.
Yep. All right, next thing we've got here is Combined Forces. It's a 1-cost event. It is an alliance event, but you exhaust an X-Force character and an X-Men character to defeat a non-elite minion. And of course, if you're using Children of the Atom, that can definitely help to expand the number of X-Force and X-Men characters you have.
Right.
So,
yeah. So this is not technically an attack, but I thought, it's still pretty useful. Then we got Dropkick. It costs 3. Hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. And if you paid for this only using strength, stun that enemy and draw a card. So you'd have to kind of struggle a little bit because he has strength with his 1 card, but it also produces an energy as well. So this is where you'd want to use martial prowess and maybe the power of aggression or something, to pay for this card. You have to kind of work at it a little bit.
All right, next then we've got Full Body Charge. So it is a 4-cost event. But as a hero action, you deal 8 damage to an enemy, and if the hero's remaining hit points are less than half of your hero's starting hit points, the attack gains overkill. So you've got this, you can deal 8, you use his charge to card event, and that adds 3 and add up to 3 to it, so you can do 11 with overkill if your hit points are down low.
I assume his staff is a weapon.
His staff is a weapon.
It's a weapon and an item.
Item weapon.
I knew it was an item, but okay. So we got Fusillade here. It's a 2-cost event. Exhaust a weapon upgrade you control that deal 5 damage to an enemy. Again, that could go up to 8.
Next here, then we've got Into the Fray. It's a 3-cost attack event. As a hero action, you deal 6 damage to a minion, and for each point of excess damage, you can remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So this is a way for an aggression player, especially helpful in solo, but it's a way for an aggression player to remove threat with his attacks.
Yeah, but with him, you do 3 charges. So even if you're going to overkill, that's 3 additional threat that you're removing with charges.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. We got Mean Swing here. When your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon, upgrade you control, your hero gains +3.
+3, yep.
+3 to the attack.
So then that way you can you can actually up your basic attacks by exhausting your staff with this. So that's nice. You've got Melee here. It's a 3-cost event. You deal 3 damage to an enemy and 3 damage to another enemy with 3 charges used on this. That way you're dealing 6 to each enemy. So that's really nice for a cost of 3.
Right. And then you throw Home Technique and you're doing 9 to 2 different targets.
Yep.
All right. So we got No Quarter here. The 2-cost event requires a strength. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. For each point of excess damage dealt to that enemy by this attack, discard the top card of your deck and add each aggression red card discarded this way to your hand. So again, if you have extra charge counters, if you want to get through your deck faster to get to some aggression events, this is a good card for that.
We've got One by One. It's a 1-cost attack event. As a hero action, you deal 2 damage to an enemy. If the attack defeats that enemy, deal 2 damage to another enemy. So with the charge counters, you can make this up to 5 and 5 if you defeat the first enemy.
Okay. Then we got Out of My Way. It's a 2-cost event. Hero action attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. 5 damage instead if that enemy has guard or patrol.
Yep. Then we've got Piercing Strike. So it's a 2-cost attack event. You deal 3 damage to an enemy and it gains piercing. So then you can actually deal 6 damage piercing for a cost of 2. and some charges.
Now, so Gambit is going to go down into alter ego, I think, more often than other characters, just because he's got Creel Charmer, so he can thwart, when he's down, and he's got his what is it called, Thief Extraordinaire.
Yes, Thief Extraordinaire.
Yeah, so I can see him going into alter ego more often. And while you're in alter ego, you might as well play Plan of Attack.
This is a great card for any aggression character that's going to flip down a lot.
Right. So you search the top 4 cards of your deck, 7 instead if you're an alter ego, for an attack event, and add that card to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Now, this is any attack event, not just aggression. So if you want to grab the full house or, his signature attacks, he's got quite a few. This is a good card for that.
All right, here then next we've got Precision Strike. It's a 1-cost attack event. It deals 2 damage to an enemy, and if it defeats the enemy, you heal 2 damage from your hero. And then again, like we said with the charges, you can increase that up to what you need up to 5 if you need to.
Right, which is more likely you're going to defeat the enemy then at that point. All right, then we got Press the Advantage. It's a 1-cost event. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is stunned or confused, you get to draw a card.
We've got Relentless Assault. So it is a 2-cost attack event. You deal 5 damage to a minion, and if you paid for this card using a strength resource, doesn't have to be all. You only need a single strength to do this, but the attack gains overkill. So then you can actually do 5 or up to 8 with overkill there.
All right. Then we got Skilled Strike. When you make a basic attack, it gets +2 attack for this attack. Now, the nice thing with these is you can play multiple copies of Skilled Strike and combine it with the mean swing as well. So you can get your basic up pretty high.
Yep.
Plus, you can only throw three more charges too. Right, this one's a little limiting, but
so this one, take that. It's a 3-cost attack event. You deal 7 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. So now he is not natively attaching upgrades to minions, but if you are using this, you can work on there are upgrades that you can do, so you'll work toward that.
Yeah, we didn't actually include any in this.
That means he can do up to 10 to a minion if you've got it there. So he can take out some pretty big beefy minions.
Or 13 with home technique.
Yeah.
He could almost single shot a Thunderbolt minion.
Yeah.
Okay. Toe-to-toe, what's a 1-cost event. Hero action, choose an enemy. That enemy attacks you, then deal 5 damage to the enemy, which can get up to 8.
Yeah, but this one actually, feels like a pretty good swap for him because he does have a higher defense. So right. I mean, you defend, you have the enemy attack and you defend, and then you turn around and do your damage to the enemy.
Right.
So
right, and then so you use the charge counters that has your defense higher, and then you can turn around and spend them to do more damage to the enemy.
Yep. All right, we got Uppercut here. It is an old classic that doesn't see as much play nowadays, but with him, it actually is a little bit stronger because you can make this, by default, it's 3-cost event. Attack event deals 5 damage to an enemy, but he can deal 8 damage to the enemy with it. So
right, so now you're at swinging web kick territory. Yeah. And you can hone technique at the beginning up
to
11. All right, then we got combat training. This is from the base game, of course. Gives you +1 attack. Play under any player's control. And speaking of home technique,
yeah, that's the one we've mentioned this one quite a few times. 3-cost upgrade. It does require 2 mental to play it, but when you play an attack or when you play an aggression event, so it does have to be a red attack event. If you pay for it using at least 1 mental resource, you can increase the amount of the damage of that attack equal to its printed cost. So this one rewards you for using mental to pay for expensive attacks.
And then this one, we have to play it because Gambit's on the art. 1-cost upgrade, test the defense, max 1 per player. After you play an attack event, place 1 test counter here. Then if there are 5 test counters here, discard this card and deal 5 damage to it. Now, this is not an attack itself, so you can't use the charge counters, but you're going to be doing a lot of attacks with Gambit. And so this is a nice way to do another additional 5 points of damage. And especially like against that Thunderbolt minion where you use the the 11 point, what was it? The 11 point attack to take
Yeah.
that. And then that's 11. And then you do another 5. That's 16. That's going to take out some of those.
That's going to take out most of those thunderbolts, I think.
All right. That was it for aggression. So now we're moving to justice. So that was, we don't have, the aggression had the most cards. So
Yeah, so here we've got breaking and entering. So it's a 2-cost fort event. You can only play it if you have a spy or a thief. Well, I think he's the only thief in the game at this point in time. But he removes 3 threat from a scheme as an action. So
yeah, and it's an action, not a hero action. So
Yep.
you could do that during an alter ego. All right, then we got concussive blow. It's a 3-cost event. Attack, hero action, attack, confuse an enemy. If you paid for this card using a strength resource, deal 3 damage to that enemy. And again, since it's an attack, you can use your charged card.
then we've got foiled. It's a 0-cost event. When a boost card is turned face up during a scheme activation, cancel its boost icon. So that is always a nice one, especially whenever he's probably going to be down a little bit more often, so you're going to see more schemes. So
yeah. All right, then we got pivotal moment. It's a 2-cost event. It's an attack. Hero action attack, deal 2 damage to the villain, 5 damage instead if there's no threat on the main scheme. And again, you can bump that up by 3.
next year we've got scare tactic. It's a 1-cost event. I mean, I don't know. Gambit doesn't seem very scary to me. I wouldn't want to meet him in an alley. But
Considering what he can do with the deck of cards, that's pretty scary.
I know. I was teasing. No, so as a hero action, as an attack, you deal 3 damage to a confused enemy.
All right. Then we got stealth strike. It's a 3-cost event. Hero action attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is defeated by this attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme. And again, you can
Bump that up to
Bump it
7, so you a likely chance you're going to defeat a lot of enemies with that. Next year, we've got Swift Retribution. It's a 1-cost attack event. Then the villain schemes, deal 4 damage to the villain. So you'll turn around, you'll let him scheme, but you're going to turn around and deal 7 instead, or up to 7 instead.
and Gambit's on the art again.
Yeah.
And we have Turn the Tide. After your hero thwarts and removes all the threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to enemy. And again, this is a response. So you're using some of your alter ego thwarting, and then you can turn around and do 3 points of damage when you're an alter ego. So that's kind of cool.
Okay, so then you've got Upside the Head. It is a 1-cost event. It is a skill, but after your hero makes a basic attack and damages an enemy, confuse that enemy. If that enemy is already confused, stun it instead. So we've got a few cards in here that deal with confused and stunned enemies. So
All right, then we got Waylay. It's a 3-cost event. After your hero thwarts, deal 4 damage to an enemy, 7 instead if that thwart removed the last threat from a scheme.
Mm-hmm. We've got Disguise here. It's a 1-cost upgrade item. You can play it under any player's control, 1 per player maximum, but you can exhaust Disguise and remove 2 threat from a scheme. And again, this is one, it's an action, so you can do this in hero or alter ego.
So this one is, if especially if the encounter deck doesn't have a lot of boost icons, say for example, this basically is your thief extraordinaire, but you're guaranteeing to remove 2 threat.
Yeah, minimum of 2.
Yeah. Well, this
Or no,
do
2. Yeah, 2
specifically. I mean, because this can whiff,
Right.
So especially if there's a lot of 0 or 1 boost cards in the encounter deck.
Right, and then we've got Justice Served. It's a 1-cost upgrade. Play under anybody's control, max 1 per player again. But after you thwart and remove the last threat from a scheme, you discard this and ready your hero.
Okay. Then we have Operative Skill. This is the last Justice card we got. 2-cost upgrade. Uses 3 operation counters, max 1 per player. When you thwart, remove 1 operation counter from here. That thwart removes an additional threat.
Right. Then we've got here in leadership, we've got a 2-cost attack event, Go All Out. It does require energy to pay for it, but you can exhaust your hero and deal damage to your enemy equal to your hero, to the total of your hero's thwart, attack, and defense values. So now Gambit is a 6 with his base stats. That's if you have not done anything to beef up any of his stats at all, you can do 6 with this right off the bat. You turn around and you use his charge the card ability or throw the card ability. and then you can make that a total of 9 instead, without any kind of upping additional stats added to them.
Right. And then leave that card out for a second. And the other nice thing with Gambit, if I can find it, is because you got molecular acceleration, which generates an energy. And,
Yep.
and it's 2. So you needed 1 energy. So there you go. This card alone, and it gives you a charge counter. So that'll pay for go all out. And that was our only leadership.
No, actually, there was one other one that I wanted to call out. I think it's called Stop Hitting Yourself.
That's not leadership.
Isn't it? Wait,
No,
I thought that one
that's
was
protection.
Is that one protection?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. And then the only pool card we have is Cut Upper. It's a 3-cost event. An attack hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy. I really like this card. Right.
Yeah, that's a great card.
Now we got protection. And we got a few protection.
Okay, so we've got Expert Defense, so it's a 0-cost event. Then when your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 defense for that attack. So this is kind of in the lines of the Perfect Defense, which, I mean, Gambit, because he starts with the 3, pretty much any card from the Perfect Defense is going to work really well with him.
And then his defense event, he gets to add +1 defense for each charge counter on it.
Yeah.
Then we got First Hit here. It's a 1-cost event. Deal 2 damage to the villain, or when a minion initiates an attack, deal 2 damage to that minion.
We've got Hard Knocks. It's a 3-cost event, attack event. You deal 4 damage to an enemy. If the enemy is defeated by this attack, you give your hero a tough status card.
All right. Then we got Jump Flip. When you would take any amount of damage, you can prevent 2 of that damage. If you paid for this using an energy, remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Now, his defense can be super high, obviously, but you don't when you don't have that card in hand. This card helps with that.
Or you don't have a lot of counters.
Or you don't have a lot of counters. So there's that.
We've got Momentum Shift. It's a 2-cost attack event. You heal 2 damage from your hero and deal 2 damage to an enemy. So the one caveat you got to be careful with this one is because of the arrow in there, you have to be able to heal damage to be able to use this.
But again, you could do up to 5 damage.
Yep.
Charge counters. And this is part of Perfect Defense. Never back down. When you defend against attack, you get +2 to the attack. If you take no damage, you can stun the attacking enemy.
The next one we've got here is Not Today. It is a 1-cost defense event. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 for the attack. If it takes no damage from the attack, then you can remove 2 threat from his scheme. So there you're able to use that big beefy bottom end that he's got to help remove threat.
All right. Then we got Powerful Punch. It's a 2-cost event. It's an attack defense hero interrupt. When an enemy initiates the attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. Oh, and again, you can make that up to 7. So you might be able to take him out.
Here we've got Sidestep. It's a 1-cost defense event. When you would take any amount of damage, you can prevent up to 3 of that, or you could prevent 3 of that damage. And if you paid for it using at least 1 energy, you turn around and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So this one is not an attack, so you don't get to beef that up. But still, it's a nice card.
All right. And then we got Tackle. It's a 3-cost attack. Hero action attack. Stun an enemy, and then if you paid for this card using a strength resource, deal 3 damage to that enemy.
All right, Taunt is a 1-cost event. It is a tactic, but when the villain attacks you, other characters cannot, or the villain attacks you, other characters cannot defend against it, but after that attack, you get to draw 3 cards. And again, that big beefy bottom end he's got can actually block a lot of these, so get 3-card draw out of it.
And we have Hard to Ignore. It's a 1-cost upgrade. After your hero defends against an attack and takes no damage, you can exhaust it to remove a threat from the main scheme. Yep. And again, you can have up to 3 of these. So,
Unflappable is one that after you defended against an attack and take no damage, you exhaust Unflappable to draw a card. And what I like with like the Unflappable, the Hard to Ignore, and the cards like that is they go really well here with his staff, because the staff is the same thing. If you defended, not the staff, the armor. I'm sorry, the armor. Yeah, his armor, his guild armor. It's one of those. If you defend and take no damage, then you can ready him. So you're ready. You use the unflappable to draw a card. You use the hard to ignore to remove a threat. And that card that I mentioned earlier, the stop hitting yourself.
We're going to get to that.
Well, I was going to say it actually fits right into this as well. So yeah, okay, we'll get to that in a minute then, I guess.
All right, so yeah, this is the card Dirk's alluded to a couple times. This is in the upcoming Silk Hero Pack. So at the time of this recording, Silk hasn't come out yet in the United States.
But she is coming soon.
Yeah, it's due like about a week away. So yeah, it's a 2-cost event. Hero response attack after you defend against an enemy attack and take no damage. Deal damage to that enemy equal to your defense for that attack. So you with the staff you got, or is that the staff?
No, it's the armor.
The armor you can bump up. You know, your defense can be pretty high, and then of course there's no reason to spend the counters because that'll reduce your defense for the same amount that you're adding to it. So but yeah, this is
Well, actually, this one's a response, so the attack's already happened.
Yeah, but it's deal damage to that enemy equal to your defense for that attack. Oh yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, the defense has already happened.
Yeah,
so you could bump this up.
You could use it for wow. So you can get 2 uses of your charge for each charge that you spend.
Yeah, and this one, like I said, it fits in real well. If you're playing, if you're playing protection, you chain those two together. You have flappable, the hard to ignores, and this, and that single attack against you, you're getting a lot out of it. So you just got to make sure you don't take the damage.
All right.
All right.
Now we get to basics. So first we have Children of the Atom. It's a 1-cost support. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Each X Factor, X Force, and X-Men character you control gains the X Factor, X Force, and X-Men trait. So that's good for like alliance cards. And we didn't pull any X Force and X-Men allies, but it allows you to combine any of those kind of cards where you want to exhaust X Force and X-Men.
Yep.
So.
Right here, then we've got Moira McTaggart. She's a 2-cost support, and especially since, as Dave alluded to earlier, you're going to probably be going down a lot with him. Then what she does is you can only play this if you have the mutant trait, so you got to play it when you're down. But after a mutant alter ego changes to the hero form, you can exhaust her, and you get to draw a card. So you get a lot of card draw out of her if you're going down often.
All right. Then we got team building exercise. It's a 2-cost support. Exhaust team building exercise. Play a card from your hand that shares the trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. So after with Children of the Atom, then that'll help with X Force and X-Men allies.
Yeah.
I don't remember there being any thief allies. I don't think there are.
So far, the only thief card I can think of in the game
is the Gambit ally.
Yeah, so you can't play him.
Yeah.
So. All right, then we've got the X-Jet. Of course, if you're playing an X-Men, this is a great card to have. Although if there's multiple X-Men in the game, you guys might have to fight for it. But you can exhaust it and generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the X-Men trait. So if you're going to have multiple players, make sure it's the generous player who's got it.
Yeah, we have a player that does not qualify as generous in our group.
He's getting better. He's getting better.
Well, it'll get better when he puts in cards like combat training and heroic intuition for other players. Then get back to me. All right. Utopia, 2-cost support, location X-Men. If each of your allies has the X-Men trait, increase your ally limit by 1. And after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust Utopia, ready an X-Men character. So, he's an X-Men, and usually X-Men tend to do the more tribal. Plus, if you have Children of the Atom, that helps. This card may not be useful if you're not caring about X-Men specifically.
Yeah.
But
then we've got Weapon X. Again, this one's one you do have to be a mutant to play this one, so you have to be down. But as an alter ego action, you can exhaust it, take a damage. You discard cards from your deck until you discard an identity-specific card, and then add that card to your hand. And his identity-specific cards are probably going to be the crux of the deck. So you're going to want to be able to try to get to those often. And since he goes down a lot, he can really utilize that.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of attacks, or like maybe you think you'll get a Creel Charmer or something. So yeah, or that double resource.
Yep.
He's got a lot of really good cards. Or if you've lost your staff or armor,
you got to restaff.
You have to restaff. Yeah. All right, so then we got the expansion here. That's a 2-cost support. Alter Ego action, exhaust expansion, heal 1 damage from mutant or an X-Men character. Any player whose trait is a mutant may trigger this ability.
And I like the fact that you can use this to heal allies as well. So it's character and not identity. Here we've got Death Focus. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's a skills and max 1 per player, but this is an old classic. You can exhaust this to reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1, and he does have quite a few superpowers.
Okay. And then the last card we got is the X Gene. Play only if your identity has a mutant trait. Exhaust X Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity specific event. And he's got a lot of events.
He does.
All right. So that's Gambit. I really like the flexibility of the charging using different amount of charges based on what you need. It's a great way to finish off an enemy.
I think my favorite aspect of him is the fact that the built-in forwarding while you're in Alter Ego. I love that.
That's really cool. Yeah. And his deck, that breaking and entering card that came with Gambit, but that also is very useful for spies as well, because that's spies or thieves. So that really improved Black Widow. If you want to always stay down, or it had something that works with her, because she had her covert ops, I think it's called, her basic kit card. But if she's staying in Alter Ego, there's more chances to remove threat. It's good for Maria and Nick as well. And well, we will have to see him play, but with the announced Winter Soldier, who, when he has his mask, he is a spy as well, so he could use that card. So yeah, it's I thought it was kind of interesting, instead of it just being Thief, because then it would be a card that only Gambit could use.
Yeah, in that case, you might as well just make it a kit card for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it might be a while before we get more Thieves.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to think about it. In the
Black Cat, if we get a Black Cat hero.
In the Marvel universe, you don't have a lot of Thief heroes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Gambit is pretty much distinguished. But
yeah, there are others, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
but so anyways, that's pretty cool. So thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see more content by us, go ahead and hit that notify bell down there. And whenever we post new videos, you will get alerted.
All right.
Thank you.